Dragon Ball games. I consider myself to be a bit of a new generation connoisseur of these games, taking whatever platforms I had and getting all the games available to play. Except Heroes. Every single one of these games brought me a lot of joy in the time I've been playing them. However, each game, and this is coming from somebody who has over 100 hours on each of them, at least, has flaws. Some of them have several smaller flaws, and some of them have one big one. So let's go over each game that I've played, so it would be unfair to talk about games I know nothing about, and go over its biggest issue. So let's get started. I'll be going in order of which games I played first. Dragon Ball Legends. Oh boy. This is the only game on this list that I actually quit playing permanently. I can make an entire video about the issues with Dragon Ball Legends as a game, and you know what, I'm actually writing that down for later. Anyway, Legends. It is sad to see a game with so much potential and awesome characters and animations be so, frankly, shit. I still remain up to date with Legends, and hell, I even made a video about it the other day, which you should watch by the way, purely because it is 10 times more fun to watch and discuss than actually play. But the biggest problem, amongst the lag, toxic metas, the shitty equipment system, the biggest problem is Chrono Crystals, or the lack of it. You can so easily run out of CC to farm. Events, which are lackluster and sparse, are literally zero fun, and it can take hours to grind enough C to do one multi, which you'll probably get extreme Yamcha with. Even if you do pull the character, you can't use them because you need a decent team, good Zenkai buffers, which you won't have because that system hates free-to-play players, and then you need good equipment, and for that all I can have to say is good luck. Once you've coughed up enough cash to have a good supporter, which is another dumpster fire of the system, arts boosted them, done all of that, you'll have a chance to survive in PvP. For maybe like a month before that character gets power crept to oblivion. Me and my friend group of just 3 of us had so much fun playing this game. We would have a 20-minute period before school started where we would just stand outside and play Legends, battling each other, doing PvP and co-op, and talking about the meta the same way the other kids talked about the Premier League. We would do group summons, and my friend A would never, ever pull anything, while my lovely friend B would always pull the new Ultra. We were doing an Ultra Cell group summon, and it was almost time to go into school when I pulled Cell, the character I was most hyped for and my first summon of Ultra. I was so happy that I just kissed friend B on the cheek. Good times. Now all 3 of us have deleted the game. Me and friend A still hang out, and he tried to play Dokkan so we'd have that same feeling, but it just wasn't the same. Friend B moved schools, and we're in a lovely relationship now, but he often talks about his disdain for Dragon Ball Legends. I can't help but remember all the good times I had with it. Also, the pity system sucks. Xenoverse 2. I love Xenoverse! It's very fun, and customizable characters in a Dragon Ball game is like a gift from God. However, the biggest problem with it is obviously DLCs. I mean, the base game's content is still extremely rich, and you can definitely get a lot of hours out of it, but the DLCs are just impossible to miss out on if you enjoyed the base game. They contain a full new arc's worth of content that really expands the story, as well as a bunch of moves, outfits, and characters. You don't have to buy the DLCs, but if you're locking away characters like Goku Black, Buhan, Broly, the Blue Fusions, Jiren, the Universe 6 Saiyans, the Gammas, the list just goes on and on. And if you want all the DLCs, it will cost you £200 if it ain't on sale. That's just not accessible for the average person trying to play a 10-year-old game. Kakarot. Kakarot is the only game that's ever made me stand up and clap at the ending. And it was an ending I'd already seen before. I mean, I'd read the manga, so I knew what was going to happen. I guess since I'd only read the manga and not seen the anime at that point, but seeing Goku do the beautiful "Thank you, Dragon Balls" in the amazing 3D animation was just beautiful. Still, my family probably thought I was a right loser for that. Anyway, God, I'm really getting sidetracked in this video. The biggest problem with Kakarot definitively is not something I really had a problem with, but I know a lot of people online had. Repetitiveness. The general combat system of Kakarot goes as such. Mash the attack button or use some moves until the opponent glows red, then jump back and dodge. Me personally, I don't really experience this as an issue, as all the bosses have different attacks, for better or worse. And I like to try out different moves with my characters, unless I'm Vegeta. Breakers. I wish you could have succeeded, my friend. It's just such an original concept for a Dragon Ball game, not completely revolved around fighting. Unfortunately, while the game has problems of its own, the biggest one is behind the scenes. The biggest problem is budget. Ever since Season 6, this game has just been dying so fast, and they have been giving developers less and less money to make this game. Season 6? Oh, there's no new map. Season 7? Oh, no new Raider skins. Season 8? Basically no new Raider. Season 9 was good in terms of Raider related content, having a very cool 2 new reworked ones, and 1 like really good regular Raider, but unfortunately, that's like when a pet becomes very active in its last few days of life. There is no budget, and we are all here just waiting for the end of service announcement. Dokkan. Physical Raditz on release. Sparkings, I'm joking. Physical Raditz jokes are just so hard to make now, he's actually good. Hopefully we get a Dokkan Fest Apule or something else ridiculously bad to meme as a community now we Raditz is good. Anyway, the biggest problem with the game right now is something that came about very recently, being limited time content. Having all this effort be put into designing these fun ass fights, rewards and stuff, just for them to leave after a while is incredibly scummy. One of the great things about Dokkan is how friendly it is for new players. You can join the game and now you have over 11 years of content to get stones from. If they do this and make people rush to beat these events, Dokkan may go down a very dark path. Geppy seems like a good producer, however, making very positive changes, so hopefully he fixes his issue soon. Sparking Zero. There's nothing to do! These DLCs add all these new characters, but that's not what we need. We need stuff to do. On release, this game had all these characters with all these movesets and awesome ass animations and literally nowhere to use them. The main story, or episode battles, are literally just the story of Z, which is with slideshow cutscenes. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it's literally the experience you get from Kakarot, but about 900 million times worse. And that's probably like an exact number as well. Sure, the what ifs are awesome narratively, but gameplay wise you'd be far off better off watching a YouTube video of them to spare you from the horrendous condition it takes to get there. The custom what ifs have some real gems, but a lot of them are just Goku versus Vegeta. However, I just watched a new Sparking Zero DLC trailer from Battle Hour, and this is what we need. They seem to be dropping new content for free, and if that's what it's going to be like for the big stuff coming in summer, this game might be saved. They might have fixed it. We have hope. Fighters! I'm not really qualified to give my thoughts on this game since I'm kind of shit at it, so I often read it about the community's biggest issues with the game. There were many, such as too many Gokus. But this comment right here seems to be the most in-depth. I don't want to just read it all out, especially since that's not my opinions, but here's a comment. Pause if you want to read it. Genshin Squadra! Nothing changes. I like this game. More than much of the others on this list, but I still have fun with it from time to time. However, it has so many issues it is honestly uncertain whether it will make it to its first anniversary. Bots, the stupid locking of characters to classes, Divine Draw, etc. The biggest problem is how stale it can get. If you don't like it when you first start playing, then you never will, because correct me if I'm wrong, but the map hasn't changed once since launch. We go through all these seasons and nothing changes gameplay wise aside from a few new Divine Draws, new characters obviously, and new helpers. I do think Genshin can fix these issues though. The biggest issue for me a few months back was that it was nigh impossible to get the new characters without playing or grinding your absolute arse off. But they fixed that by giving them out through daily logins, missions, and moving them up in the Star Pass thingy. Look, I got Monkey. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Let me know if you want me to do a positive version of this, eh? Anyway, Shin is now in Sparking Zero. I wanted the Diamond version though. Oh well, Nama's there as well, that's pretty cool. For that one guy who's doing the daily challenge, he's on like 1,000. Anyway, goodbye.